Okiyah Mtata this time round hataki mchezo, na anasema ya kwamba yeye anataka kufuata moja baada nyingine. Wakati Ndindi Nyoro yuko pale State House ana chair meeting ya national budget, utakuja kuona kwamba county yake ama constituency ambaye yeye anaongoza, utakuja kuona kwamba maendeleo yako juu zaidi, kwa sababu huwa anapeleka pale pesa nyingi zaidi kuliko some of the MPs. Unaona, that's why unaona Okiyah Mtata anajaribu kufichua hiyo siri yote pale. Kwa hivyo bila kupoteza muda, watazamaji wangu, nataka tuende moja kwa moja tuone jinsi ambavyo Okiyah Mtata, Senator of Busia County, ameweza kushambulia Office of the National Budget. Unajua, kuna baadhi ya watu huwa wanauliza kwamba kwa nini hii constituency ama hii county imepewa pesa kidogo, hii county imepewa pesa mingi, hii county imepewa pesa ama haijapewa pesa bado. So the reasons ndo hizi. Huyu Okiyah Mtata anajaribu kushambulia kabisa, amejaribu ku highlight huku aki-uncover the hidden things ambazo kwa zinafanyika pale kwa ofisi ya National Budget. Unaona? Kwa hivyo tunakuja kuona kwamba Ndindi Nyoro ni MP, lakini huwa ana chair meetings za National Budget pale Nairobi County. Kwa hivyo, and that's why Okiyah Mtata amekuja ku highlight wakati ambapo amekuwa akisoma finance bill of the year 2024. Amekuja ku notice kitu fulani hapo. Amekuja kuona ya kwamba kuna baadhi za madeni ambazo zimeweza kuwekwa pale kwamba wanataka kuzilipa. Unaona? Kuna zile pesa ambazo zinasemekana kwamba zinaitwa other expenses. Unaona pale. Kwa hivyo Okiyah Mtata anajaribu kufichua hiyo siri yote pale kwenye finance bill. Manake ameshasoma kila kitu na anajaribu kuelezea jinsi ambavyo serikali ya William Samoei Arap Ruto inajaribu kucheza na akili ya watu. Jinsi ambavyo mnaelewa, watazamaji wangu, ni kwamba senators wanga waletewi pale kwenye Senate hiyo finance bill, wanapeleka kwa wabunge peke yao. And that's why unaona Okiyah Mtata akipata nafasi ya kuongea na radio ama TV yoyote, basi huanga nafichua the whole story ambayo inaendelea kufichwa pale. Kwa hivyo watazamaji wangu, kabla uweze kusikiza jinsi ambavyo amejaribu kuelezea na anajaribu kushambulia hii serikali ya William Samoei Ruto, basi chukua sekunde zako mbili kuweza kujiunga na hii familia ya Raipenda Evans kwa kuweza kubonyeza alama ya subscription hapo chini. Kisha bonyeza alama ya subscription, basi utakuwa wa kwanza kabisa kuweza kupata updates kutoka kwa hii channel ya Raipenda Evans Online TV. Kwa hivyo nataka uweze kusikiza tu kidogo, kisha tuweze kuendelea kabisa.
We have a constitution in this country, and within that constitution also there are measures to punish these people. There's going to come a time when we shall put them in jail for what they are doing today. Across the world, President Ruto was in South Korea the other day. I think he's still there. Mm-hmm. Let him ask himself how many presidents have been, former presidents of South Korea have gone to jail. As he wants to admire South Korea, he must notice a side whereby rogue presidents are jailed and punished.
President Park was the last.
Yes, and so does President Ruto want to be jailed when he leaves office? That's the question he should ask himself. He's not almighty. He must obey the Constitution. There's no way out. Mm-hmm. And me, in discussing this bill, I would like everybody to go to the website of the National Treasury at www.treasury.go.ke/budget-1/. You will find 5 books there which contain the budget estimates of the current government that we are supposed to be discussing, but instead we are being taken the wrong way to discuss the Finance Act or the finance bill, which is premature. You cannot have a finance bill without a budget you want to finance. You must have the budget, then now come up with measures to finance that budget. But we are dealing with measures to finance what doesn't exist. But I want us to look at the budget estimates. The total number is about 4,500 pages. Right now, I've read through all of them. And on my first reading, I've identified about 100 billion shillings that is being stolen. 100 billion. Mm-hmm. And in two items, one of them is the repayment of debt. There's about 40 billion shillings there that you cannot explain. Double repayments. When you come down, there's other thing. They call them other expenses. Now, other expenses of what? Our budgeting law, the law, not even a policy, the law requires that every item be identified, what you are going to finance. Mm-hmm. So you cannot have other expenses. No, you must tell us this 10 shillings is going to buy this glass. So the question of other expenses is what you call budgeted corruption. So of that, in that component alone, other expenses out of those 4,500 pages that are up there is 52 billion shillings. So together 40 billion plus 52 billion, you get 92 billion. That is being stolen, being placed here to be stolen. You see? And so you cannot be talking about there not being enough money that we want to buy, tax everybody, whatever. Yeah. What we need is fiscal discipline. And I just want to give you an example.
Oh, before you proceed, Senator, you have mentioned a very critical process of our budget-making process.
Yes.
And the constitution that Honorable Wamushomba holds here, and we all believe in because of its supremacy, gives the parliament the power to amend the budget. And this largely falls in the context of the formulation, adoption, execution, and the control, the 4 stages, 2 before, 2 after. And parliament is knowledgeable of this fact in regard to the presentation made by the Control of Budget when she appeared before the National Dialogue Committee at the Bomas of Kenya, where her own salary was tripled, yet she was the only officer in that capacity. These are issues that have been flagged. You are the members of parliament. You can't turn away from this blame of this budgeted corruption and what's contained in the budget that MPs in the budget committee do overlook. How do you then clean up your face as the representatives of the people?
First of all, for some funny reason, the budget doesn't come to the Senate. But you are fighting for it to come to the Senate, because if you look at Article 249, Clause 3 of the Constitution, it's very clear. It states that Parliament shall ensure that independent commissions, independent offices and constitutional commissions are funded properly. And the estimates of these commissions and independent offices are managed under Article 221, where budget estimates are broadened. So the mere fact that they are introduced in the National Assembly, like it is said under Article 109, I think it's Clause 5, that money bills will only be introduced in the National Assembly, does not mean that money bills will only be considered in the National Assembly. And so the Senate sits and watches this nonsense going on. And so we are still fighting to make sure that the budget goes through both houses. Mm-hmm. That practice where they have been misreading the Constitution must come to an end. Now, the other thing, there's this thing called the Budget Office. Go and look at how much money went to Ndindi Nyoro's constituency for roads. He charged the Budget Office. They go and make deals with the Treasury, and then you see Parliament debates their report. Parliament does not read the 4,500 pages that I've referred to. They read that thing, and then they bring a report to Parliament, then Parliament debates the report. And that's why the problem is. The MPs never get a time to walk through the estimates. They are walked through by somebody else who is captive to the Treasury. Just look at the MPs. Look at the MPs who sit in the Budget Office and how much money they allocate to projects in their constituencies. And look at other MPs. I'm talking about the National Assembly. Forget about the Senate. Just the National Assembly. You will see why there's a big problem. So that animal called the Budget Office has been captured by Treasury, the Treasury mandarins, and they are in cahoots. So when they peruse these things, they see no evil, and therefore they bring a very rosy picture of what is happening. Yeah. And that's why then where we lose it. Because then Parliament debates the report of the committee, the departmental committee. It does not debate the raw data. So I would not blame the MPs.
Ndio hivyo ndivyo mambo yanaendelea kufanyika hapa nchini Kenya. Okiyah Mtata this time round hataki mchezo, na anasema ya kwamba yeye anataka kufuata moja baada nyingine ili afanye nini, ili aweze hii finance bill iweze kutupwa, haitaweza kupitishwa tena kama ile wakati mwingine ambapo mswada wa kifedha uliweza kupitizwa. Kwa hivyo watazamaji wangu, ningependa kukomea hapo kwa sasa. Maybe niambie tu unatazama ukiwa maeneo gani, ama unaniambia una comment kulingana na hii video jinsi ambavyo Okiyah Mtata amekuwa akiongea pale kwenye Citizen TV. Kwa hivyo watazamaji wangu, ni Raipenda Evans from Raipenda Evans Online TV. Kuwa na siku njema. Bye bye.